Welcome to The Perfect Balance, where this is the podcast where we discover your symptoms are not the problem, with your hosts, Eva Vennari, Dr. Heather Kneale, and Leslie Brown. Join us as we jump right into this episode. Welcome into The Perfect Balance. This is the show where we discover your symptoms are not the problem. My name is Eva Vennari, one of your three hosts, and I'm from the Elevate Institute. I help professionals get to their next highest healing.
And my name is Dr. Heather Kneale. I am co-founder and CEO of Global Nutritional Healing, and we offer certificate programs in mineral balancing.
And my name is Leslie Brown. I'm the creator of the stress relief system for high-achieving men.
Yeah. And today we're going to talk about something that you think might be obvious, but we've got some ideas for you. What does it mean to feel good?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a great conversation because a lot of people, when you ask them, what are your health goals? A lot of people don't put time and effort into it. They don't realize that they could be more than just symptom free.
Right. And you get used to, I know for me, I got used to being tired. And then I got used to, and I just kind of, everything, it just kind of got worse and worse. It was like, okay, I can barely get up. So now I need like, 3 cups of coffee to get moving. Oh, now I need like a pot or 2 pots for the day. And to me, it was normal. And I just thought I was normal. This is just normal. I'm supposed to be tired. I'm supposed to have brain fog and not think clearly. But I didn't really think, oh, this is a problem. It's getting worse and worse. I just kept finding ways to maintain, not knowing that, I can't sleep well. I can't eat very well. It was a normal everyday thing.
I remember too, I was going to add on that, you acclimate to it, right? And I remembered that myself because I thought, I had those symptoms and a whole bunch of, additional ones, like I'm sure we all three did. And I thought, oh, well, this is just what life is like. And it never occurred to me to discuss it with anyone. I'd go to the doctor if I had double pneumonia or something, one major symptom that I couldn't get rid of, but the rest I just thought was normal. And again, didn't think to talk to anybody about it, not realizing that both of those were symptoms of an underlying problem. It's very interesting. Eva, I know you're going to say something.
Well, just on the back tailcoat of what you're talking about, we do things to support an unhealthy body, thinking, well, it gets me to feel good. I was talking with somebody who suffers extreme ADHD, and he's like, I can't hold my attention to anything for more than 3 minutes at a time. But as soon as I had a line of Coke,
right.
Wow,
right.
The world was popping. It was a different place. I was focused. I was energized. He felt good. That doesn't mean it was the right thing to do.
Right. We know what that's going to do, long term.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he ended up addicted and then had to go into recovery. And now he's sober 15 years. But this is the kind of thing we think, well, if what I do to, like your coffee, to overcome the not feeling good gets me feeling good, then done. And that's not long term. That's not longevity. And if you're interested in longevity, like we are, looking good, feeling good up until the day that we die, that's the idea.
Right. Anti-aging, turning back the hands of time. And another issue is, for me, I didn't even know what it was to feel good. To be perfectly honest, I was sick when I was younger, asthma. I was in hospitals. I was taken out of schools a lot of times because I couldn't breathe. So the concept of what feels good, that was pretty much foreign to me. How do you know?
Yeah. And people forget that you can be born with these conditions. And so they don't realize that, for starters, and often tempted to use that as excuse. Well, I was born this way, just like that song from that movie, whatever it was. Like, okay, but it doesn't have to stay that way. It can get better.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know the difference. You really don't. Unless you have actually worked on it, you don't know what it is to wake up with energy. That was huge for me. When I started getting a couple hours of energy during the day, naturally, not taking a ton of coffee, not, having energy drinks or whatever it was to keep me going. When I did it naturally, I thought,
Wow.
Is this what they're talking about? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you, like you said, if you're born with those imbalances, and well, that's not an if. We have evidence in this science that says that you are, whatever the imbalances and toxins your sweet mother had, she lovingly passed to you,
Thanks,
while she
Mom.
was making you. Yeah, she makes it, we're not born perfectly. And so you may not ever have known the feeling of actual, what does it mean to feel good? um yeah, and there is something to look forward to, and if we were to paint a picture of it, what does that look like? Let's talk about that. What does it look like on a hair test, and how does that correlate?
Well, a hair test it's everybody, it's a little different. We try to get you in a good range on your hair test, but it's more about getting more balanced for you. Wherever you are on your hair test, we want to improve on that. That's probably the quickest way to talk about that. We
Yeah.
want to see your ratios and your levels on the hair test, the minerals, to start heading to an optimal range. So that's what it looks like on a hair test. Does anybody want to go into like some symptoms, or, I mean,
I do. I've got
lack
a list
of
of
there?
symptoms because I'm going to do a presentation. I've got a seminar in February, so I've written out a list of that I'd like to share. But let me ask you on this, Heather, aren't there a couple of like key performance indicators we like to look at too? The vitality,
Yeah, oh,
maybe
definitely. I
strength,
just, yes,
oxidation. Can you
we
explain
have,
that just a little bit?
right,
So,
we have
so
the
there are.
oxidation rate. That's one of our big ones. And that is how your body burns foods and turns it into energy. I would say more than 90% of the hair tests that we see are extremely slow, meaning that everything, I think of just everything sluggish. Your adrenals are sluggish, your thyroid's sluggish, but that goes on to your digestion, your liver, your kidneys, your thinking, everything gets sluggish. And we do see that in quite a few hair tests. And then we have the opposite, where they have the issues too. When it's too fast, we have problems with sleeping, with all kinds of things, healing. So really, if you're too far off on the spectrum with the oxidation rate, you're going to have symptoms. And they're not always the same, but we have lists and lists that go in there.
And some people want to go off of symptoms alone and not bother with the hair test, but you have a lot of crossover.
Exactly.
Similar symptoms in slow oxidation, and I'll be surprised very rarely, but I'm like, oh, based on your intake, I thought you would be a slow oxidizer, but you're fast right now. So you don't ever want to go off symptoms alone, which is why your symptoms are not the problem. And that's why getting somebody to read the test and analyze it properly is the best, healthiest, or safest. Let's do that. Safest way to go. So let's hear
Safest.
I
Yeah,
think so
safest.
too.
And to improve your health. I mean, with going by symptoms, I actually did it for years. I mean, I did the hair test, but I always thought, this should be, we have hundreds of symptoms that can be a slow oxidizer. So I've gotten someone that has, myself, I had probably 30 symptoms that were in slow oxidation. And, and then I've had other people that have that many in slow oxidation. And sure enough, they are not a slow oxidizer. So, we have to really go off of the hair test. And if I would have given them the incorrect program, they would have gotten worse, which we see with a lot of other people that do hair testing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when those minerals come into balance, because we talked about before, right? They're all in relationship with each other. We don't act upon them individually, but how they behave in relationship. But it's about that oxidation rate. It's about how well we're building energy to be able to give us the life that we were meant to lead, right? To be able
Exactly.
to help us feel well. And it takes some time to get all that stuff done.
Yeah.
And so in the list I put down on getting well, I just started to jot down some things I noticed, but I know guys are going to add more. But I found I liked people more because for a while I thought this is pretty bad. I'm in health and wellness and I don't like sick people. But that changed and I just really came to like and enjoy people more. And I could take the time to understand their point of view instead of just defending or trying mine known. I didn't realize that all had to do with how ineffectively or effectively my body was functioning. I really started to enjoy people's company more rather than wanting to isolate. Liked my husband and my family more. I also noticed it reduced a lot of wrinkles. It really does act as anti-aging. I started to realize that the wrinkles had to do with a lot of toxins that my body couldn't eliminate because it wasn't in in a state of wellness. Builds strength that's lost through aging. So I've also personally noticed that, but have clients notice that you get strong, your muscles are stronger. Libido goes up as well as erotic dreams. Woo-hoo! Appetite goes down, no longer tempted by so much junk and sugar. It's just not as attractive. Uh, bone density is greater, and sleep more deeply, 8 hours straight through. Yep. Now, this was an interesting observation to me also. IQ can be higher. And the reason I say that is because when I first entered the program, I'd been diagnosed with Lyme disease, which it's an umbrella name for a whole bunch of junk. The one that it's known for is a parasite that can pass the blood-brain barrier and go into the brain. And once that cleared out, we have documented a person's IQ can increase as much as 30 points. So that was a fun thing to be able to notice and to be able to experience. And that's what I wanted to say. Turns the clock back. Those were the few points that I had listed there.
Yeah. And I think that's an excellent depiction. And I would even deepen the conversation around the sleep, because we can't rejuvenate without it. But people, when they're stuck in that slow oxidation, I remember this, not only riddled with insomnia, which leaves you blessed, at 3 o'clock in the morning to do nothing but search the internet. But
or get your naturopath like Heather did, right? Yeah.
That's how I found the program. It was blessed with insomnia up at 3 o'clock in the morning, putting in a search string of all of my symptoms. And I found this. But if you're on the right path and your body's healing and you're getting to that place where you are in ideal range, especially for the first 4 minerals, you're going to get to sleep to the point where you're not having to knock yourself out to get to sleep. Right. So it's no more drinking into oblivion or whatever it is that you feel. You're taking a bunch of NyQuil or whatever drug in order to get yourself to fall asleep and pass out. You fall asleep because your body's ready to. And then when you fall asleep, you stay asleep and you remember your dreams and you wake up refreshed. And that's something, when I speak those words and say, this is what you're looking forward to clients, they go, wow, that I'm really looking forward to that. It's across the board. Nobody's experiencing that.
And they wouldn't have thought to bring it up.
No. You just don't, you push through. And that's our normal MO, is to push through with whatever we're dealing with.
Instead of I don't know how to describe it, but instead of a glide. So instead of pushing, it's more like, oh, right, we just glide through the day.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it differently. Do you guys have other words for that?
When you feel good, I mean, I get excited. I'm excited for my day. I have energy. I think that's a big one. I've had family members. I have had clients that have been very sick. I've had lots of different diseases. And one of the things that happens is that they start losing interest in things that they absolutely love to do. So to me, that's a red flag. There's something wrong.
Yeah. That's a sign of depression. But like how I describe how the body goes through its stages till it finally does feel more often good than not. Right. Because we spend so much of our time not feeling good oftentimes. But it's an ebb and flow. The regular cycle of our energy throughout the day should match the what's that, circadian rhythm, right?
Right.
So
the parasympathetic,
we're not looking for the cocaine fix of the high where we're constantly high energy all day while we're awake. And I think that's a common misconception.
You're right. Yeah. We think we need to be on energy drinks and coffee to actually perform. And then we should be, right when we go to bed, we should now be tired, right?
Done. Right. Yeah.
And sleeping pills now.
That's why slowing the momentum throughout the day is part of the program, is to stop, rest between your appointments, make sure that you're being mindful, get up, empty the tank, go to the bathroom.
Right.
And then go get some water, fill it up again, but take those natural breaks, because that's in alignment with the circadian rhythm. That is what we're trying to achieve, is this ebb and flow. I have the energy to think clearly, to get through my tasks. And when I'm done for the day, because my brain has said, you know what, I'm I'm out. Like, be okay with that.
Right.
Not,
Right. You
not,
don't need to be awake right then. You don't need to be, I mean, you need to be awake, but you don't need to be like, yeah, just pass out, will ya? No. But you don't need to be like super focused and high energy at the time where, you know, I mean, it was hard for me because I'm very type A. So you know,
I think we all three are.
I know I was raised in a family, and so it just kind of, it stayed with me for many, many years. And so, you know, I should always be productive, and being productive at 9 o'clock at night is, that's not very smart, you know,
No.
because how long is it going to take you to go to sleep at that point? So we ask, you know, I remember being told when I started this program, okay, a couple hours before bed, turn off your computer. I'm like, huh? What? You want me to what? Turn off your computer, you know,
turn down the lights.
yes, turn down the lights, maybe even not watch TV, read a book. I'm like, ew. I mean, I love reading, but you know, at that time of night, I'm like, computer, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And some people will say to me, "Oh, Eva, you don't understand. My body clock makes me more productive at night." Well, what? Tell me a little bit about how much sleep you're getting. Are you falling asleep in the middle of the day? Is that the reason why? You know, and when you do a little discovery, you realize that they're compensating for an imbalance that they have. They've made their lifestyle adjust to the imbalance instead
Right.
of going, okay, from this place of if we create these new habits, and they, you know, a belief is something we think over and over again. It means that we are in charge of our thinking, and habits are the same. So we're in charge of what we do. And whenever we're putting just the same, like where we draw the line between I feel good here and I got a few more symptoms and I got to draw the line and go, well, I guess this is my new feel good. We can change our lifestyle to match this imbalance. Does that make sense? And so it's like, why are we doing that to ourselves? Because we don't know what to do. What we're trying to,
Right.
we have
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
No, it's exactly
and what to
it.
shoot for, right? What we're
Right.
aiming for. We don't know what to do or what we're aiming for.
Right. I had a
Go ahead.
practitioner that was on the program, and you know, she's doing really well, but she just kept saying she told me very similar, Eva, you just sparked. She said that she could only work from 1 to 9 p.m.
Oh,
Those were her hours. And I just thought, wow. I said, how are you getting to bed? And you know, so I realized she wasn't getting to bed till like after midnight, and sometimes even later. But then I realized, she said, well, I get up at like 10:30, 11 o'clock. I was like, okay, so now see this belief that she had, and she told me her whole family, this is what they did. And I'm like, well, you
there
know,
you
and we
are.
worked on it, and she got it to where she had regular hours, but it was a belief. She kept telling herself, it is okay for me to get up at 11 o'clock in the morning and start at 1, right?
and for some people, if they have business where they're primarily in another time zone and they want to have that lifestyle, they can, as long as it doesn't interfere with their health. And if you're putting your priority on you first, then you'll know that. You know, and even still, if you have that situation where I've got people who come to me who are on swing shift, and then they swing shift and their employment pushes them back to daytime, and they get, all over the place.
Ugh,
So you have to have strategies for these individuals. How can we be successful in our energy flow without adding in a Red Bull, a cocaine, whatever,
right,
what's the one, the Adderall? That's a big one.
right. That is
Lots
a
of
big
people are
one.
addicted to
Mhm.
Adderall.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
So it's like,
true.
how do you maintain that without, when you're not in control of that?
Right. If you work night shift, exactly. How do you go to bed? And, you know, you still want to get the same amount of hours of sleep. You're having to flip it. It can be hard though. I mean, I did it for 8 years, 9 years, night shift.
Yeah. Yeah. So strategies, and that's why there's no one set rule. But if your life is not working for you, well, let's be brave and look at how to change those circumstances. That's hard. That's hard. Change is hard, but it's worth it, especially if you're wanting that longevity and you want to feel good. I had a conversation with some firemen up in San Luis Obispo here in California. while back, and they were talking about, look, we're always on call. Always on call gives you that feeling of the cortisol, always like expecting some emergency, right? Yeah, of course. And he goes, sometimes our sleep is very interrupted. What do you suggest? And I'm like, well, there is a yoga pose you could do for 5 minutes up, do the head on the floor, blood up against the wall, feet straight up. I don't know the pose name right off the top of my head, but that gives you the equivalent of a lot. It's like body hack of a good, couple of hours of sleep. Do that in between to lower your cortisol levels. And I think that having those tools in your pocket can help the feeling of good, even if you can't do the traditional sense that we're talking about, because it can't. I would love to say everybody just live this way, dang it, believe us.
Right. Right.
But you got to have something in between, and that's what that's what we're here for. Just saying.
Right. Right. And it takes a little time. I think that's another, when I started, I took a while to heal. I was very sick. I was told I had a couple of months to live, so mine was pretty detrimental of when I started. But, it took me a while to start feeling better. So I used to tell everybody on the program, like, oh, this is going to take a long time. And, so, and some people, most people I've noticed within a 4-month period, they are noticing improvements in some things. I don't know. I mean, sometimes they take one dose of the supplements and they're calling me going, I want to get my mom on this. I want to get,
Yep.
everybody's a little different on this. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is that we're trained that, I mean, a lot of people believe that we should have everything so quickly. It's like, Amazon, we get it the next day, right?
Oh boy. Christmas every day. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, but it doesn't work like that, and I think that's it's a harder thing to understand, is that it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it. I mean, how long did it take? How long have you been feeling unwell? How long you want to continue doing that the rest of your life? That's what, those are kind of some of the things I asked myself. You've been pretty bad for a long time. Just do it. Just do this. You're seeing changes. I saw my chest x-ray improve. That was pretty much it. I had a pneumonia that I was told I had 2 months to live. I'd taken care of patients with this type of pneumonia. They were usually AIDS patients and they died. And I got it, and nothing was helping. So I thought for sure, this is it. And then, so I started this program, and within 4 months, my chest x-ray was normal. And the doctor said, thank your lucky stars. But I didn't feel, I mean, I'm still crawling to my car, I had very low energy, but for me, that was pretty big. I thought, nothing else has done that. Something is working. And so I stuck with it. And thank goodness I did, because I was able to take care of my daughter and do all kinds of things, have my own business, help people. I mean, I wouldn't want to change it for the world.
There's so much that you just said in there that I kind of wish we could highlight, in neon letters. But the two things that hit me right away was, just because you may not necessarily feel it on the outside, but most definitely things are changing. You're giving your body the raw materials it needs to rebuild internal body systems and to heal itself. And just because it takes a little while to start to the inside and then move its way to the outside is one way that I think about it. Yeah. And the other is, I noticed it took me a while to be able to adjust and accept the process. I mean, it took me a while to do that mentally, psychologically. I thought, oh, I ought to be feeling better than this. But my change of attitude carried over into other areas of life where I've learned to just enjoy the moment and to be able to take pleasure in the process, not just like waiting for the end goal and everything's going to be stars and lights and great firework display,
rainbows everywhere.
Yeah, right. I was going to say that. There's a lot to say for enjoying the moment in life, taking pleasure in it. Even if it is, I feel lousy, but I know good things are going on in my body. It's that that positive I get tired of that phrase, a positive attitude, but feeding yourself the positive side of the picture instead of sinking into the negative side makes all the difference in your healing as well.
Yeah.
But I could go on and on about what you were talking about, because that was a really important story that you shared.
Well
Your life
said,
story. I'm
Leslie.
so
Everything
thankful
you
you're
just
alive.
said.
Yeah. You're
Glad
reminding
you're
me
alive.
that we should have a show on mindset. We
Oh
should,
yeah, that's a
Yes,
really good one, because it can
yes.
stop us or
yeah.
help.
But,
Yeah.
you know, you're both hitting on this idea. We are bombarded as a society with, here is the miracle pill that's going to make you better now. And, you know, as a mystic, I know the difference between magic solutions, unicorns, natural healing, which is this work, mineral balancing, and the cat that's dressed up as a unicorn, which is our fads and our trends. And that's something that you learn. You learn not to take the bait. And it's immediate where you want the result, because we're human and we're like, we need relief from this pain. We don't want to feel the pain. I understand. We get it. We all get it. It's just in long term, it's going to derail the actual healing. And the healing is, it, like you said, Leslie, there's the internal energy system that's going on. We're turning that on by being on the program, you know, and then you have that external available energy, and that they are different. They're two separate systems, I have found, and one does affect the other. And that's, we got into that in the exercise myths talk. If you remember that podcast,
Mhm.
how our, what we think that we're, you know, overworking our body and working out to exhaustion is a good thing. Well, you're pulling energy from the ability to be able to actually heal. So it's about finding balance, and the more present you are in your life, and you're seeing all of these actions and your new habits come online, and how well are they serving you in your life. And I don't know, I think that's the key, is being present.
It really is. And if you don't have any energy, which most people have very limited energy, it makes it a little bit harder. So I think a mindset talk would be wonderful.
Yeah, it can help a lot. And I also, we've talked about this before too, but just having the hair tissue mineral analysis as a plumb line, as something to line your health up with, or how you feel with, is really important, because people use all sorts of tests, blood tests, kinetic muscle testing. You know, a lot of those things are, they're not talking about the construction of the body, maybe how the body's reacting at the moment, but it's not the big picture. And I've even, you know, we're thinking people, we're going to try different things. I know you guys do too. But so I tried a remedy recently that I thought, oh, let me see if I can help one area by speeding up my thyroid and my hair tissue analysis. Heather, this is an explanation. My thyroid was like off the charts. It was putting out way too much. It was totally energy inefficient. I pushed it way too hard with this one remedy that I just tried for a couple of days. And now it'll balance out again because I stopped doing it. But it was a remedy that made sense, intellectual sense to me, a logical sense. But when I checked out the impact on my body as a whole, it just wasn't working. It wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, which was to support the natural healing again. So it's another point, is that because we do deal with thinking people, and we do want to try different things, no matter how much I want to listen to Eva and do exactly what we're supposed to do.
Right.
It just ain't gonna happen with this, sister. But it also helps me self-correct, because I have the hair tissue mineral analysis test to rely upon, and I know what to do to get back on track, which is to stop that nonsense I tried in the first place. But I think that's important too, just to have a plumb line, to know what you're going to measure against.
Right. Yeah, it is tempting. There's so many things that come out. And like Eva was saying, you know, you learn, oh, this is a fad. You know, there's that cat with the unicorn outfit on, whatever. You know, you're just like, oh, exactly. Just like, okay. So those are trends and, you know, fads, and they're gone quickly, and they can really affect your chemistry in a negative way, even though you might feel better.
Yeah.
You know, just like Eva was saying, you know, cocaine made that guy feel better, but is cocaine good for you? Probably not. No. You know, so it's similar with a lot of things. Is
And
that
way more expensive than staying on the program.
right?
Yeah, I mean, the general framework, I like to tell people this, and they don't like it because it's true, and I'm a truth teller, and I get labeled a lot of things, like, you know, bad words. But anyways, the idea If it doesn't come from the best pharmacy on the planet, what's inside your body, if you haven't made it yourself, don't take it.
Right.
Food is
Right.
food. Yeah. Chemicals, let your body handle it. And the same thing with your thyroid. Do not, a thyroid or any other gland is like hormone therapy. Oh, that's another one we should do. Hormone therapy.
Oh, definitely.
That's like getting behind a car that's out of gas and pushing it from destination to destination. Stop it. Like it's not, no, that's not how the body works. I'm getting animated now. Hormones. All right. So, but anyways, that gives you an idea of what it means for a person to have an experience. We've painted a picture. What does it mean to feel good? And you can see it's not just a simple, oh, I feel happy or I feel like I have energy. There's more to this whole story. And a lot of it is mindset and habits, and that's what we're here for, to guide you. So we invite you to interact, give us your questions below, make sure that you're with us for the next show. We're going to be talking about, what are we talking about? We're talking about
I think
Oh,
we were going to
that
talk
is funny.
addictions.
Addiction.
Addictions. Yeah, addictions. I'm like, what are we talking about? Is this Friday?
more about cocaine.
Yeah, you
As a
can really
recreation.
think better. All right. Well, anyways, we're having fun. This has been The Perfect Balance. My name is Eva Vennari, founder of the Elevate Institute, where I help professionals get into their next highest healing.
And I'm Dr. Heather Kneale. I'm co-founder and CEO of Global Nutritional Healing, and we help get people to take certifications in mineral balancing science.
And I'm Leslie Brown, creator of the stress relief system for high achieving men.
And we're so glad to spend some time with you. See you next time.